Kerby. It's a little bit different than maybe ACL or Achilles, where you've got like this very clear timeline and a lot of data to work from. Just based on what you know through the process he's taken this offseason, whatever specialist he might see, what is your confidence level that you're going to be able to get, Kerby Joseph, what you expect out of him this season?
Yeah, really, I don't know. I honestly do not know. I know this, we've done everything we can do, and he's done everything he can do to this point, and we are trying to be as smart as we can and not push this until we absolutely have to, because once we've done that, then we'll know one way or another. And it's not worth it right now. We're just slowly building, continuing the strength in there. He's getting treatment. He's done some of these different things at different places to try to help. So I feel good about that. I feel good about that we've done everything we can, and so is he. And so we won't know. I mean, honestly, we probably won't know until we get into the thick of training camp.
Is Kerby Joseph going to be a Pro Bowler for you this year, or is Kerby Joseph going to retire? Now answer that. And you'll go, well, that's not fair. Those are opposite ends of the spectrum. Right, but it forces you into a conversation that's substantive, that's real, where you got to think about it. If Kerby comes back and he's part-time and he's week to week and he snap count, that's not Kerby Joseph. It's not. Kerby Joseph signed a 4-year, $86 million contract to be a ball-hawking safety that seemingly, as he goes, your turnover margin goes. So if he's not him, what's that? Then you got to answer the damn question. I'm not going to do soft serve. If you're forcing me to answer it, retirement versus Pro Bowl. I was stunned to hear Dan Campbell's tenor. And I'm thankful for Dan Campbell, because at least in a world of lies and gaslighting and nonsense by teams and executives, Dan Campbell just got up there and he may as well have had a Coors Light in his hand and gone, we're screwed.
No, Mike, it reminds me a lot of like near the end of Frank Ragnow, where it was like, well, it's really up to his pain tolerance, and it's up to this, and it's kind of out of our hands. And it sounds the same way with Kerby Joseph. I got to lean towards you that if I had to choose between the two, I would say retirement. Now, if I had a third option, I'd say, you know what, maybe he just sits this year out.
Not an option.
Someone asked about Kerby Joseph, William, and it's not what was said, it was how it was said. Someone asked about the status of Kerby, and then if you're paying attention and you're watching Dan Campbell, he just goes, I don't know. I don't know. We've done everything we can do. William, I think I'm back in the boat of Kerby Joseph. Maybe he's for sure not ready for week 1, but I'm kind of starting to think those darkness thoughts are coming to the front of my head, thinking, have we seen the last of Kerby? Because these updates are very vague, but the body language from Dan Campbell is very, very negative.
Kerby Joseph's never playing football again, is he? A month away from camp, and you have Dan Campbell saying, yeah, we're nursing it. We don't want to force anything. Dude got hurt like in October, November last year, and it's June, and there's no timetable for this guy at all. We might have zero safeties either next year. Think of Brian Branch, but if you're Kerby Joseph and the Lions, I don't think this guy's going to play again. If he does, he's not going to be the same Kerby Joseph. He might just be trash. We might be better off just having someone roll off the streets and play safety. But Kerby Joseph, God, that sucks, especially defensively. He's been so good. Yeah, no, Kerby Joseph's cooked.
Be this smell like skunk 2 days in a row right here. So it seemed to be a concern about Kerby Joseph. A lot of people freaking out about it. That Dan Campbell said he still don't know what's going on, like Marvin Gaye with Kerby Joseph. And at the end of the day, man, you can have 2 new safeties. It's the NFL, man. It's not for long. That's what the acronym they use for it. Not for long. The average NFL career, last time I checked was 2.5 seasons. And I say it all the time. Everybody don't have a Junior Seau career. Rest in peace to him. Rest in power to that brother. Everybody don't have a Tom Brady length career. You get caught up looking at the top careers and thinking that's the top length or the top salary for those careers. But in average, it's a lot lower than what you think it is. You know what I mean? So, in general, you prepare to turn over a leaf. Finding safeties is not hard. It's not a hard position to play. It might be the easiest position to play on the field. They might have to find 2 new safeties, and Brian Branch for Kerby Joseph, so be it. You went in the draft. I mean, you found a couple good safeties throughout the years. FA Miller Final, Kerby Joseph, Brian Branch, you might have to do it again. It ain't the end of the world. It ain't replacing Jared Goff. It ain't replacing Jahmyr Gibbs. So if you got to do it again, guess what? You know, the price of that safety, the price of the brick is going down then if you go draft one. But in general, let's be patient. We in June, be patient. We'll see where he is. And if he ain't there, I'm pretty sure they took precautions. They bought Roxanne back, Avonte Maddox. They bought the hybrid safety nickel from Tampa Bay over. They did precautions. But, you know, you got a guy like Kerby Joseph who really, you know, only thing he really don't do well is play man-to-man coverage. And you don't expect your safeties to be great man-to-man cover safeties. And shout out to Brian Branch for being that, you know. And I was kind of hearing the conversation they was having about Brian Branch, or the Lions kind of going with more heavy sets and linebackers instead of going base hybrid nickel. And I might talk about that. That's a good discussion because when they had BB, they was in that. When BB was playing that nickel, that's basically what they was playing. They was playing that hybrid, that nickel. They was playing that nickel as base because he was so good in run support and so good in coverage. He was like having a linebacker and a DB. He was like having a linebacker and a DB, you know, in one. Now that's changed a little bit. They went with the three linebacker base set again. And I mean, I ain't knocking it. But yeah, I think, you know, kind of getting with the times. I kind of agree with them on that. But in general, you gotta have that guy like you kind of gotta have that guy like that, what's my man's name? You gotta have that guy like like Brian Branch. So either you gonna find another Brian Branch, one of those nickels that can be good in run support and be good in coverage, or you got to find another safety and move Brian Branch back down to the nickel. You know, so that's kind of one of the things that it's way less heavy as hell. That's one of the things that they may have to. I'm looking for my damn straw. Yeah, that's one of the things that they may have to. They may have to consider. That's one of the things that they may have to consider, y'all. And if that's the case, and that's something that they got to consider, is finding new safeties and putting Branch back into the nickel, so be it. But being in the back half of the field, I mean, you still can put him in man-to-man coverage. He's still good, you know, deep coverage. He still is that enforcer over the middle. You got two safeties that's enforcers over the middle. So, I mean, I feel y'all. I'm just not panicking about it right now. If Kerby Joseph really ain't panicking about it here, going around making kids do push-ups, buying them stuff, we'll see what happens with the knee. And if it's a wrap for him, it's a wrap. I mean, you anticipate those type of things happening in the NFL. You really do. You anticipate that. It's not for long, bro. So for people to be freaking out about it, I mean, it could be the quarterback, it could be the pass rusher. You know, they've took precautions to prepare for the safeties. They've took the proper precautions. So, you know, I think a lot of people are freaking out a little bit too much for my liking about it. I ain't tripping. No, this ain't the first off season that these guys came in the off season. They both was injured. One had a boot on their foot in Kerby Joseph. And I think Brian Branch was coming off a hip or ankle injury or some shit like that. Hey, and they showed up and played damn near every game that particular season. You know what I mean? So I get people freaking out, and you know, a lot of the people like to talk to Lions. They may not talk to Pistons, you know what I'm saying, or something like that, or talk to Tigers and the Wings. But in general, y'all, it's still early. There's no need to really freak out. There's no need to really complain and cry and panic. We'll wait. We get to training camp. We'll see. Laporta came back to practice. I really wasn't concerned about that. He trying to get his chili. You know, so he came back to practice. Who else do we have? Come back to this boy. Branch, he put a video up of him back training. It ain't that deep, y'all. It ain't that deep. So we'll see. And I get y'all tripping about it. But we'll see come week 1. We hope to have both. We hope to have both. If not, they took the proper precautions to replace both of them. So safety isn't that critical. You do want Branch to come back and Joseph to come back because turnovers will happen. Your defense will be better. So, you know, we'll see. If they don't come back, that's a conversation that we have. And they have to find some new safeties. Or somebody have to step up. So, but for a lot of y'all just reaching for something to talk about. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. We will see. But, you know, in general, he ain't really tripping about it. So I'm not. Kerby Joseph seem in good spirits every time I see him. I ain't tripping about it. So we'll see where their knee is at. We'll see where Branch Achilles at. And if they're able to come back and contribute, the Lions gonna be a tough out, even for the Rams. So thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Everything is in the link in the description. Appreciate the love and support. Peace.